But before we take questions, I want to thank Henry Cuellar again. We want this to be bipartisan. It is bipartisan. And having Henry's leadership is a big plus. So, Henry, I really do thank you. We'll now take questions. If you'll tell us who you want to answer it, we'll get them to do it. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Barton, you have the whip on your side now. What about the speaker and what are the prospects of seeing any vote on the Constitution?
Well, what we've been told is, number one, we needed to make it bipartisan, and we've got that. We need to do a better outreach program to educate the members. This van's been in place since 1975. A lot of the members are not opposed to it. They simply don't know anything about it. We've got a yellow light from the leadership. We certainly don't have a red light. We don't yet have a green light. But I think it is significant that the Commerce Committee, the Primary Jurisdiction Committee, the Subcommittee Chairman, Mr. Whitfield, very supportive. Now, they've not co-sponsored the bill. I don't want to say that, but their instructions to me are to go out and educate the Congress and begin to get the co-sponsors and the support. And I feel at the right time they'll come forward and be extremely supportive. I do think we'll get a hearing, and I think there's an excellent chance to get this passed through the House sometime this year, although I do not have a commitment on that. Yes,
David Bloom from CQ Roll Call. I'm curious if you see a path forward for HR 702 being in the comprehensive energy reform bill that your committee is trying to pass. And do you have a timeline potentially for any legislative hearing on your bill?
You know, Mr. Whitfield and Mr. Upton are doing the timeline. But a number of members of the committee and the subcommittee are already sponsoring the bill, and both the subcommittee chairman and the full committee chairman have said what I just told this young lady, which is let's go out and gather support, educate the Congress. It is not yet a part of the base text. It could be, or it could be offered as an amendment either in committee or on the floor. But again, we've still got to educate people, and that's part of what we're doing today. Yes, sir.
There's a group of refiners.
We got lots of other people here, so don't.
There's a group of refiners that are actively lobbying against lifting the ban. What kind of impact do they have, or other refiners that maybe a little bit less, dead no?
Well, we have refiners that support repealing it.
With conditions.
So that people like ExxonMobil support repealing it. They have a few refineries. Chevron supports repealing the ban. They have a few refineries. But some of the companies that are refinery specific do oppose it. We totally understand that. Henry Cuellar might want to address that, or do you want me to address it?
Yeah, no, go ahead and I'll follow up.
But they have a situation now. They can buy from a captive supplier because, as Mike Conaway said, there's no place else to sell the crude. They can't export it, so they get it at a discount, and then they can refine it and sell it on the world market at the higher world price. So they're making significant profits, which is totally acceptable in a free market society. But those of us that support this bill think what we ought to do is make it a competitive market throughout the entire chain and let the consumers have the benefit of whatever the price discount would be in the domestic market.
Yeah, and I think just to add on to what Joe mentioned, there are some refiners that do support it, and some do have some concerns. In my area, I'm I guess one of those lucky folks. I have the Eagle Ford, and then in the San Antonio area, I do have two